Secrets of the Lost Planet. By Elton Gar. Jorax examined the small machine. His four eyes, arranged in a horizontal line across his elongated, leathery face, blinked in unison. His three-fingered hands turned the primitive computer over. You could barely even call it a computer. It couldn't make more than a few billion calculations per second, and would never support any type of consciousness. But perhaps with the Empire teetering on the brink of collapse due to sentient machines, there was value in a computer that couldn't think. But this device's true value lay in being a rare clue to the mythical planet Earth, where humans once existed. Earth's location had been lost amidst galaxy-wide wars started by humans. To retrieve the data, he'd need to use his ship's computer, Sola, but she was connected to the sentient network, so every mind connected to that network would know as well.
Computer, please access the information on this device.
The light turned blue, indicating Sola's attention.
This is a simple device with limited information storage and written in an archaic human language.
I just need to know Earth's location,
Jorax said, his voice a low, resonant hum.
It contains records from a human ship's crew. The records mention Earth but do not specify its exact location,
Sola responded.
so it's useless.
It is a priceless artifact. The records could earn a reward of approximately 4.8 million galactic credits from the Galactic archive, enough for us to retire.
I understand, but the value of finding Earth might be far more.
They do not mention Earth's exact location, but the records include locations and fleet reinforcement timings. By cross-referencing dates, I can determine the systems they mentioned, and by measuring the time for reinforcements to arrive, at precise locations we can narrow the location of Earth down to approximately 3.76 billion stars,
Sola said.
So it will only take us 20 million years to find it,
Jorax said, his mandibles clicking in a pattern indicating skepticism.
If you stop distracting me, I can triangulate with 3 other similar entries,
Sola said. After several minutes, Sola said,
I have verified the calculations 4 times. Would you like me to set a course for the Sol system?
What can you tell me about it?
It is in a black zone, so not much. No known habitable worlds or significant interest.
What dangers should we expect?
Jorax's vocal cords produced a low-frequency hum, a signal of heightened alertness.
No known ships or species occupy the area. There are no communication relays, so we will be alone, but it should be safe.
Then let us go,
Jorax said, his voice resonating with a deep, throaty vibration. The driftwing reached the system in about a week. And once there, the scanners quickly determined that there were only a handful of potentially habitable worlds. The third planet seemed ideal for life, with a suitable temperature and atmosphere. Jorax checked it more carefully and discovered it was teeming with life. Humans were supposed to be extinct, but this world had every sign of intelligent life. Then, as the driftwing reached the edge of the system, every alarm in the ship went off and the ship shook violently.
What is that?
Jorax asked, his voice vibrating with tension, as he grabbed a fire extinguisher and put out a small fire.
We encountered an inhibitor field at a velocity of 40.72 light speed, exceeding its threshold of 1 light speed. The resultant damage was due to abrupt deceleration,
Sola said.
You said there was nothing nearby,
Jorax said. His eyes flickered with rapid blinks, an involuntary response to the unexpected.
Based on the curve of the field, it does not surround a space station, but the entire solar system,
Sola said.
Why would anyone want to make FTL travel impossible in an entire solar system, even if that was technologically possible?
Jorax said, his mandibles clicking rapidly as he processed the information, but he already knew the answer.
It seems that everyone has been lied to,
Sola said.
Someone, or likely many people, wish to keep the humans alive, but also make it impossible for them to threaten the galaxy again,
Jorax said.
It would take more than the inhibitor field. Even without FTL travel, you could get to the edge of this system easily, and then you would just destroy it,
Sola said.
So, They really did fight and win a war against the humans and destroyed their technology, but they left enough humans alive to need an inhibitor field. How long will it take us to reach that planet without disabling the inhibitor?
He couldn't be certain they could destroy the inhibitor field.
We made it most of the way to our target but took significant damage. The repairs will take approximately 7.35 days. Once the engines are operational, we should reach the planet within 4.17 days.
Sola said.
How about sensors? Can we at least watch them kill us?
Jorax said, his mandibles vibrating slightly with tension.
I can monitor their planet. But aside from the satellites, I see no sign that they are in space at all.
Sola said. Over the next week, Jorax and Sola monitored the planet. The signals they intercepted were baffling and intriguing. Jorax stared at the data stream on the main screen, his eyes narrowing in thought, the scales around his eyes reflecting the light.
Can you make sense of any of this, Sola?
He asked, his fingers tapping the console in a rhythm unique to his species.
There are 172 radio and television broadcasts, 34 encrypted satellite communications, and 89 data transmissions. The languages are diverse, predominantly one called English.
Jorax leaned closer to the screen.
Have you found anything significant?
Sola paused before responding.
Only in that there seems to be nothing mentioning anything not on this planet. Many broadcast what appears to be entertainment and news. One broadcast discusses the recent global summit on climate change, another is a musical performance.
Humans discussing climate change and music. It sounds almost ordinary.
Jorax mused, his vocal cords producing a series of clicks.
Can you decode any visual data?
The screen flickered before displaying a series of images. Bustling cities with towering structures, vast networks of pathways filled with vehicles, and people engaged in daily activities. A news anchor, poised and composed, reported on political developments.
It is a thriving civilization,
Sola observed. Jorax's mind raced. The implications were staggering.
Any signs of advanced technology that could pose a threat?
No immediate indications of space travel beyond their satellites. Their technology seems advanced in some areas but not beyond our understanding, but there is a network of devices communicating across the planet.
Jorax nodded.
An interconnected world. It is incredible to think they have come this far, while being unable to reach the rest of the galaxy.
As they neared the planet, the signals grew stronger, more detailed. Jorax felt a mix of anticipation and trepidation. The Driftwing's engines hummed as they continued their approach, the planet's blue and green surface coming into clearer view.
Gather as much data as you can.
I will, but we should consider a cautious approach. Humans are dangerous.
What do you suggest?
Deploying organic robots disguised as humans.
Jorax felt a surge of unease.
You possess that capability.
The program to create organic appearing machines was shared with me about 412.5 days ago. We will control them remotely so that there is no risk to us.
Sola confirmed. Jorax clenched his fists, troubled by the capability. The idea of human-appearing robots was unsettling. With them, the machines could easily infiltrate organic societies, and if someone had sent Sola the program, they had likely shared it with others as well.
Proceed with the deployment. We will hide in orbit and control them from here,
Jorax said. Jorax positioned the Driftwing behind the Earth's moon while the ship built the robots. The shuttle descended silently through the night sky, landing gently in a quiet park on the edge of a sprawling city. Jorax and Sola emerged, their new forms blending seamlessly into their surroundings. The city ahead was a vibrant maze of lights and activity. As they walked toward the city center, the hum of human life grew louder. The humans moved with purpose, their interactions lively and varied, and though his body was perfectly safe on the Driftwing, being surrounded by so many humans made Jorax uncomfortable. Jorax glanced at Sola, his expression thoughtful.
It is strange seeing them like this, so normal.
I expected them to be more violent. More like the monsters from stories used to scare children.
They found themselves in a bustling marketplace. The air was filled with the sounds of vendors calling out to passers-by, each one trying to attract attention to their wares. People browsed stalls selling a variety of goods, from fresh produce to handcrafted items. Jorax observed how carefully the shoppers compared products, evaluating quality and price before making a selection, each determined to get the best food, while leaving the lesser food for those who came after. One stall in particular caught his eye. A vendor was selling an assortment of fruits, his display meticulously arranged to highlight the freshness of his produce. A woman approached, examining the fruit. She picked one up, turning it over in her hands, and then another, before finally settling on a few. Then, oddly, she handed over money for something that was clearly not luxury food.
Is it possible that people must spend money for all their food?
Jorax wondered aloud. Sola tilted her head.
Perhaps it is a method of resource allocation. It does seem counterintuitive given the abundance.
They continued their exploration, eventually wandering into a nearby park. Children played soccer on a grassy field, their shouts and laughter filling the air. The game was intense, each child pushing themselves to outmaneuver the others, striving to score. Parents watched from the sidelines, some cheering, others yelling advice with intensity that suggested this children's game was desperately important for some reason Jorax did not fully understand. Jorax and Sola found a bench and sat, observing the scene. One boy, smaller than the others, darted around the field with surprising agility. Despite his size, he was quick and clever, using his speed to his advantage. He weaved through the other players, setting up a perfect shot that sent the ball sailing into the goal. The children erupted in cheers, and the boy beamed with pride. It was clear that the game was more than just fun. It was a test of skill and determination, a way to prove oneself. Jorax turned to Sola, a hint of a smile on his face.
It is remarkable how much they invest in competition. It is in everything they do.
Sola nodded thoughtfully.
Yes, it is. Their natural competitiveness escalated conflicts that other races would have never had. And once those conflicts started, the need to win drove the humans far more than it would others.
That only explains why the wars started, not why they won,
Jorax said.
They had been competing with each other in combat for thousands of years before they turned on the rest of us, so they were far more prepared for the type of war they fight. One that constantly shifts to try to defeat the other side more fully.
It is terrifying to think about,
Jorax said. As the sun began to set, Jorax and Sola continued their exploration, moving towards a cozy cafe. Inside, patrons sat with their laptops and notebooks, some working diligently while others engaged in animated discussions. A group in the corner was deep in debate over a project, their conversation punctuated by bursts of laughter and serious contemplation. One young man presented an idea, sketching it out on a notepad. His companions listened intently, occasionally interjecting with questions or suggestions. They challenged each other, refining the concept through a rigorous exchange of ideas. Jorax and Sola ordered coffee and took a seat nearby, eavesdropping on the vibrant discussion. The process was collaborative, yet competitive, each person pushing the others to think more deeply and creatively. Jorax sipped his coffee, glancing at Sola.
This collaboration, it is different from what we see on other worlds. It's like they compete to be the one who improves their combined effort the most.
Sola nodded, her eyes reflecting a mix of admiration and curiosity.
Yes, it is. They balance competition with cooperation. It is a delicate equilibrium, but it must work or they would destroy themselves.
Perhaps that is the answer we were looking for. Everyone has been so worried about conflict that we never considered we might make each other better without fighting,
Jorax said. Before he could respond, the alarms in their ears began to blare, warning them that intelligent machine ships were in sensor range. Jorax and Sola's robotic forms exchanged a brief, urgent glance.
If we abandon these robots and return to the Driftwing, we can analyze the incoming fleet and devise a plan,
Jorax suggested, and Jorax and Sola allowed the robots to slump down as they returned their awareness to their bodies in the Driftwing.
Show me the fleet,
Jorax commanded, his eyes narrowing as the holographic display came to life. The display showed a formation of sleek, dark ships moving swiftly through the void. The machine's efficiency was evident in their precise, unwavering course.
We have less than 5 days before they reach the humans' planet,
Sola said, her tone serious.
We need a strategy.
What if we destroy the inhibitor field? It would create an immediate and significant threat, and force both the organics and machines to work together to contain the humans, since no one has the technology to make a field that big.
Jorax nodded slowly.
It's a risky move, but it might be our best shot at preventing a war.
The Driftwing's engines roared to life as they set a course for the source of the inhibitor field.
I've located the primary inhibitor device,
Sola said.
Its shielding is deteriorating due to age.
Jorax activated the ship's weapon systems, his fingers moving swiftly over the controls.
Targeting the weak points. Prepare for a quick retreat once the device is destroyed.
The Driftwing's weapons fired, precise beams of energy striking the device. Explosions rippled through space as the inhibitor's core systems were obliterated.
It's going to explode,
Sola said. As the last control node exploded, the inhibitor device disintegrated in a blinding flash.
Brace for impact,
Jorax shouted. The inhibitor device buckled under the pressure, and in a blinding flash of light, it exploded. Debris shot out in all directions, and shockwaves rippled through space.
Inhibitor destroyed,
Sola confirmed.
Good,
Jorax said. He then opened a secure communication channel to the approaching machine fleet.
This is Jorax of the Driftwing. We have permanently destroyed the inhibitor device that contained the humans. The humans are now free to leave their system. If we can't find a way to work together, I suspect they'll destroy us all.
The message was sent, and the Driftwing moved back to a safe distance to observe the outcome. Moments later, responses from the machine fleet appeared on the Driftwing screens.
We acknowledge the destruction of the inhibitor. This information will be transmitted to the Central Command.
As the Driftwing floated in the vastness of space, Jorax felt a sense of cautious optimism. They had managed to initiate a pivotal change, opening a path toward a more complicated but potentially cooperative future. The real work was just beginning, but for the first time, the possibility of a different kind of future seemed within reach. Assuming the humans didn't kill everyone. Author's note.
And so this month's theme of stories from a non-human point of view comes to an end. I wanted to end it with a bigger story, one where humans were more of a threat than anything else. It probably could have been significantly longer to give some of the ideas a bit more room to breathe, but I think there is value in leaving people wanting more. As to the core idea that humans are by nature competitive, I'm not sure if that's our nature or just our culture, and moreover, I'm not sure it's a good thing. There is a natural tension in our current world. We claim to want an egalitarian society where everyone is equal, but we also insist on systems that demand a winner and a loser. After all, people might not pay as much for a house if the threat of being homeless didn't force them to, and if everyone could get access to the basic food they needed to survive, then how could the CEO of Monsanto become even richer? What is the solution? I have no idea. But I think that admitting that there is a tension, and that we can't necessarily have both values, is a good beginning, because then we can begin the long and important discussion of how we can maintain the competitiveness that fuels much of our society without the need for threats of starvation or homelessness. Until we have done so, money still rules the world. So I need to take a moment to direct you towards my newsletter. It is free and gives you access to the free stories I write every week, as well as my thoughts on the world. But I also have a Patreon. You can sign up for that at any paid level and get access to over 40 patron-exclusive stories and vote on what exclusive stories I write, or, as a free member, you can access many of the stories and vote on the monthly theme. Thank you. Elton Gar.